number of months ago, I made a video, maybe 6, 7 months ago, about what type of photographer are you? Where I talked about technicians, creatives, artists, um, and I said I was a creative photographer. I didn't really consider myself an artist, and now it's 6, 7 months later, and it's Saturday. It's midnight. The place is a mess, and I am working on prepping for my first gallery show. So I have my first gallery show coming up in 3 weeks. It opens in 3 weeks, May 18th, 2023. I'll put the info below if you're in the area. Feel free to come out and check out the opening. I'm doing it with my friend Marta. Putting the show together, this is something I started thinking about doing in December, and I started really figuring it out in January. And the process has been really interesting, really rewarding, but very insightful, very difficult. I've learned a lot about myself and my work, and I definitely think it's a process that every photographer should go through. Maybe not actually doing a gallery show, but the process of thinking about what your work is. Like, how do you define yourself? How do you define your style? How do you define who you are as an artist, and what your vision is? Like, if you were to put a collection of images together, what is the theme? What's the driving aspect of that? And how would you describe it? I still don't consider myself artsy, so my artist description and my artist statement is very sort of irreverent and self-reflective. I want to consider that my background in comedy and improvisation is a big aspect of who I am, not only as a photographer, but as a person. And that bleeds into my photography. And so my exhibit that I'm doing is called Expressions, Volume 1, The Architecture of Emotion, and it's based in the work of Paul Ekman and Charles Darwin and the facial action coding system. And I can link to that stuff below if you don't know what that is. And so I've been exploring who I am as a person, what my work is, what drives me to specific types of images, and especially with this collection. It's something that I've never had to think about before. I've never thought about before. But in doing so, it has really, really helped me figure out what it is that I want to do, what I want to pursue, and how I want to do it, how I want to pursue it, and the kind of work that I want to create, at least the kind of work that I want to represent me as an artist. I mean, that's new to me, and it's interesting, and I still don't know if I'm like fully bought into this idea of me as an artist, but we'll see. And I guess that really all depends on like the collection, how well I put the collection together, how well I curate my images. I have not created any new images for this show. It's just a collection of my existing work. That's one of the reasons why I haven't posted in a couple of months. The other is like the last video I posted was about me having to leave my studio, and in the last couple of months, I'm next week hopefully going to be signing a lease on a studio, a smaller studio, even smaller than the one I was coming out of, which is still not the most ideal space, but it gets me into the facility where I already was, and where I've been working for off and on for a number of years. So it gets me in there permanently and gets me set up and allows me to use the complex, which is pretty great. And I'll be doing more videos about that and about the space. But let's get back to the show. So as far as the show goes, it was surprisingly very easy for me to get the show. I just went and talked to the curator at the Cotton Factory where my studio was and will be, and I'm going to be doing the show there. This is my first ever show, and she's just like, sure, yeah, I can put up a show for you. I don't think it's going to be that easy for anyone. For you, I feel very lucky and blessed and privileged to have this experience. What I've had to think about is, what is it that I'm drawn to? What is it that I'm inspired to create? What is it that, from the perspective of photography, what is it that I'm passionate about? A lot of the work that I do and what I charge people for isn't necessarily work that I'm passionate about. And I'm hoping having the new studio will allow me to create a lot more work that I feel is more representative of me and the kind of work that I want to do, and will allow me to create and do a lot more test shooting. As an artist, I'm drawn to faces, I'm drawn to expressions, I'm drawn to the revelation of truth in moments where people aren't thinking about them. Like Pollockman's work is based in micro expressions and subtle expressions, and that's really for me where nuance lies and truth lies. And so that's what this collection is exploring. That's what my work is exploring. That's something that I would teach to improvisers, how to read faces, how to read body language, and how to understand and interpret what is in front of them. Now, I do that when I'm behind the camera. And I do that when I'm culling a session and editing images. I look for the expressions, the subtleties in the expressions. So I've got the show coming up. I'm nervous about it. I'm excited about it. It's definitely going to be new and fresh for me, and I think it'll be interesting. And I think it's an interesting challenge for you to take on for yourself as a photographer. Maybe you don't have a gallery show, or you can't get to the position of like putting up a gallery show. But what I would suggest is like go through the process as if you were going to put a gallery collection together. What is the collection? What is the theme? What's its title? Write the statement about the collection. Write your artist statement, write your artist bio. Go through that process, and it'll really force you to be introspective, not just about your work, but about who you are as a photographer, why you shoot the kind of work that you shoot, and why you create the kind of images you create. And post it in the comments below. I'd really like to know what it is, how you view yourself. And don't just like stop the video and comment. Like, go through the process, come back to this video in a month, 2 months, and let me know. Best of luck. I'll see you soon.